Welcome to the battlefield, my warriors. This is Dark Son of Legend, and I'm going to be talking about the newest entry of the Naruto Ultimate series, called Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution. I'm going to start off by talking about the new features that will appear in the game, and then talk about my suggestions and predictions afterwards. I'll start by talking about what's probably the biggest revelation of the game so far, Tournament Mode. Now, this tournament mode isn't exactly what Storm 3 had, where we could fight about 8 players online. This tournament mode is actually a story mode used to introduce a new character that Masashi Kishimoto designed himself, specifically for this game called Mecha Naruto. From what I've seen so far, the gameplay looks to be a combination of classic Storm gameplay and Clash of Ninja gameplay, which is the games from the GameCube and Wii. And so far, it seems that there are going to be 4 players, but only confirmed to be 1 player versus 3 computers. Although whether more actual players can join in later remains to be seen. The next new addition is the 2-stage awakening, which has only been confirmed for Mecha Naruto so far to my knowledge, but will probably be confirmed for other characters in the future. Basically, in the Storm games, each character has an awakening. Some people have a power-up, some people have an actual transformation. And basically what a 2-stage awakening is that some characters have multiple transformations that they can go through, and this game allows them to do that. So take Mecha Naruto for example. He can transform, I believe it's into the Four Tails mode, and then afterwards he can transform further into the actual Nine Tails. Of course he's a machine, so it's a mechanized version, but you get the idea. Another new addition is the Team Ultimate Jutsu, which is basically when a combination of the main playable character and the support characters can initiate a unique Ultimate Jutsu when that is triggered. For those of you that are interested, the confirmed Team Ultimate Jutsus are between Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke, Sasuke and Itachi, Itachi and Shisui, Kakashi and Guy, Gaara, Kankuro, and Tamari, Deidara and Sasori, Hidan and Kankuzu, and Pain and Konan. Of course, there have also been some new confirmed characters as well. I've already mentioned Mecha Naruto, but the previous Kage that appeared in Storm 3 are also now playable. There's Mu, the second Mizukage, the third Raikage, and the fourth Kazekage. These guys in the previous game were fightable, they were enemies in the game, but they were not playable, so it's nice to see that they're finally here. Another new character that they've added is Shisui Uchiha, who had a minor yet pivotal role in the manga, and has a deeper role in the filler arc that is currently going through the anime. The last new addition so far to the game is the Akatsuki storyline, which is basically a side story besides the tournament mode that focuses on the origins of the Akatsuki, basically how Madara brought the entire organization together. For the Akatsuki's younger versions, they're going to all have original costume designs by Masashi Kishimoto himself, and there's also going to be 50 minutes of new animated cutscenes from Studio Pierrot for this game. And forgive me if I mispronounced that studio name, which I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, now for my suggestions and predictions, which may get a little bit ranty, so bear with me. First off is Tournament Mode. First of all, I'm glad. I think it's a good move that you guys didn't completely redo the combat. You completely didn't replace it, the old combat with this. Don't get me wrong, the Tournament Mode does look like it could possibly be fun, but I'm not quite sure about it, and I'm especially not sure about the stage hazards, as I'll call them. They're not really hazards. As you can see in the trailer, Naruto is going up this like wooden railing and doing an aerial attack, and from what I can see, it looks like it's just gonna be really kind of awkward and it takes so long to do that it would kind of take you out of the immersion of the game. So if you guys, are listening and taking this seriously, I would actually suggest taking that stuff out. It would probably be best just to have it a normal all-out brawl in the arena, to be honest. Another suggestion I would take is, if it's not already being done, is that tournament mode be available for free play, so that 2 to 4 players can get involved in this. Like, the Storm games so far have been really awesome, but only 2 people can play at a time versing each other. Even if it's only for one mode and if it's not exactly the same gameplay, it would be nice to be able to finally have 4 players go at it at once. It would really, really be awesome. I think it's worth the effort trying to do that. Next up is the 2-stage awakening. So like I said before, it's probably going to be more for just Mecha Naruto, because otherwise it would be kind of dumb to implement a new game mechanic just for one character. But not all characters have the potential for 2-stage awakenings. But I feel like there's something that we can do a little bit differently to change that. Basically, I think characters should have the possibility to have multiple awakenings. Not necessarily like chaining together, like Naruto's would. For example, Sasuke, he has Curse Mark Stage 2 and Susanoo. They don't necessarily chain together, but I think what should be done is that you should have the option to customize what awakening you want them to go into, or probably better yet, to kind of combine them into the same character slot and have the ability to change their costume. And with the changed costume, that it would also be programmed to change their moveset, their jutsu, and their ultimate jutsu, so that you can save space on the character roster and avoid people getting annoyed from there being like 3 or 4 Narutos and Sasukes, and having it be more clean and have more option to customize and kind of diversify the gameplay. Next up is the Team Ultimate Jutsu. Team Ultimate Jutsu came about, I believe, with Ultimate Ninja 3 for the PS2, and it really came out hard in Ultimate Ninja 5. I don't think it was in 4, although I could be wrong, but 5 was not released in America. It was not localized. By that time, the PS3 had come out, and they just didn't make that localized. But as soon as I found out about Ultimate Ninja 5 and I saw these team specials, I'm like, oh my goodness, I am missing out. I wasn't so much worried about it not being in Storm 1, because, it was a new experience, it was an experiment, you guys were trying a new thing out, and it was still a great game. But in Storm 2 and 3, I was kind of missing that, and I wasn't sure why you weren't doing that, especially since you've done it before. So I'm glad that it's in this one. And speaking of Ultimate Jutsus, I think people should have the ability to customize their Ultimate Jutsu, or more specifically, I think it should be like the mechanic that you had in Ultimate Ninja 4. I think it would be really cool to have people's Ultimate Jutsu change based on how much health they have, because each character has so many moves in their roster. Like, one Ultimate Jutsu per game doesn't really cut it. Like a lot of the Ultimate Jutsus for the Storm games are really awesome, don't get me wrong, but having that same Ultimate Jutsu, like that, you can't, like, it has to be the same one every time. It just gets kind of dull after a while. Like, it would be great to be able to have multiple Ultimate Jutsus, either one that you can change in the menu, or better yet, like I said, have it programmed so that the Ultimate Jutsu changes as their health decreases or increases or whatever. I think that it could really diversify the gameplay and make a lot of people happy, because there are lots of jutsus that these characters have that are being overlooked for the newer ones that they got more recently in the anime, even though the older ones are fantastic as well. And I would do the same thing with the regular jutsus too, the triangle circles. Do what you did in the PS2 Ultimate Ninjas. Allow the menu customization so that each character has multiple jutsus you can try out, and allow them to choose which one to take into battle. I think it would really, really make a lot of fans happy, including myself, and diversify the gameplay and creative choice between the players. Next up are the new characters. So, back in Storm 3, I was kind of disappointed at first that the Kage weren't playable when I found out, but I kind of thought, maybe you guys just didn't have enough time to, do whatever you needed to do to make them ready for combat, which is okay if that's the case. I'm just glad that they're here now, though. As such, I'm also going to be expecting Kinkaku and Ginkaku to be playable, because they were the same way, fightable but not playable, so I'm really hoping they're in this game. However, there is a pet peeve I have with the characters of these past few games that I want to address. First of all, I think every character that has been playable so far should be playable. Specifically, I'm talking about the characters that came from Storm 1. You guys put all of them back in Generations, and that was great. and then you put some of them back in Storm 3. But the problem was that with the ninja timeline from Storm 3, you picked and chose a few battles in Part 1, and whatever characters were involved in those battles became playable in that game. But then you just like threw everybody else out. Whatever characters didn't show up in an actual storyline for the Storm 3, you know, they weren't there, and that kind of made me sad and upset. I thought that after Generations you guys would put them back in, and I can see the whole like, well, they're not involved in the story mode kind of thing, but that really shouldn't be an excuse. Even if the characters aren't involved in the storyline anymore in that particular game, if they were playable, if you made them before, then just put them back in. People want to play them. I want to play them. So please do that. All of the Part 1 characters. But the one thing I hate even more than that is that ever since Storm 1, you haven't included any of the Sound Ninja 4. Not Jirobo, not Sakon, Ukon, Tayuya, or Kidomaru. You've had Kimimaro, and he didn't really, well, I guess in the timeline he did have a battle in Storm 3, but he didn't really have a place in Storm 2, and when in Storm 1 you completely skipped over everything else in the Sasuke retrieval arc and just focused on Kimimaro, and that really made me upset. First of all, the Sasuke retrieval arc is a very, very important arc, and these guys can't be overlooked. They were so important to the story, and they have such a diverse and drawn-out moveset in the anime and the manga that it would be easy to make characters out of them. And in fact, you already have. In the Ultimate Ninjas for the PS2, you made them into characters, and they were fantastic to play, so I don't understand why you didn't make them here. And I'm not suggesting you copy and paste what you made for the PS2 onto here, not at all, but what I'm saying is, with that kind of creative genius from the PS2 games, why can't you recreate them here, and why are you ignoring them? The only thing that we got was them as being DLC support characters for Storm 1, and they haven't even appeared as support characters in the other games, let alone become playable. So that needs to change. Whether they show up in the storyline or not in this new game, they need to be playable. So the Part 1 younger guys and the Sound Ninja 4 are the ones that I definitely want to be playable. I think they deserve to be playable, but at the same time, and this is smaller so I can understand if not, but I still would like it to happen, make people like Kurenai, Anko, and Shizune playable. I know that they didn't really have much to do with fighting in the manga and in the anime, and probably won't because it seems like the storyline might be wrapping up pretty soon here. But regardless, they're characters, they can fight, and they've been in the games before, and I'm sure there must be people that want to play them. Even if they're not super popular characters, or maybe they are, who knows. I'm sure that some people will appreciate that, and having 3 more characters on the roster will definitely won't hurt anything. And you guys did make them characters in, again, the PS2 Ultimate Ninjas, which were actually really good. They had good movesets, and they were formidable opponents. So I know you guys can do it. Same thing with the only support characters, especially the ones from Storm 3, like Chojiro and Akatsuchi and all those people. Make them playable. I don't really see the point in having support-only characters. I know it would be more work to make them have entire full movesets, especially if they don't really show off many moves in the manga or anime, but I think you guys can do it, and I also think it would just really add to the overall value of the game if every character was playable, both support and, you know, main character. Next up is the Akatsuki storyline. So I'm gonna say right out here, it looks really promising. The footage, like the cutscenes for the 50 minutes, is actually original footage. If you guys remember Generations, when it came out, it was a side game, you know, it was a quick release trying to lead up to Storm 3, just to get a few new characters and new game mechanics out there for people to enjoy. I understand that, but part of the storyline was, like, part of the selling point was like, oh, new animation from Studio Para, or however you say it. But most of what they animated was basically just a rehash of something that already happened in the anime, and really it kind of felt unsatisfying. But from the trailers, Every single bit of footage is completely new and original, and it looks fantastic. I can't say for sure if it's actually going to turn out to be fantastic, but whether Masashi Kishimoto is involved in the story or not, it looks like they actually did a good job. It's definitely going to be completely original, for sure, and it looks very promising. So I'm really, really excited for that. And so finally, I just wanted to talk about the story mode in general, and also specifically about the actual canon storyline. First of all, I don't think we should worry at all. I was worrying at first about the ending of Storm 3 because it was ending at a point where in the manga it seems like it's almost ending, and I assume it will. And if that's the case, then I was worrying about the story mode not having a whole lot of content in it. But the inclusion of 3 story modes actually excites me. I was expecting it to only be the tournament mode and the actual canon storyline at first, and even then, I was already having high hopes that they would be adding enough story-based content to be satisfying. But 3 whole modes, that's insane. I mean, the tournament mode is a little bit more like fun, like what if kind of thing, but it does have actual story to it, and it does look like it could be good. The Akatsuki storyline looks even more promising than tournament mode, and looks like it could almost pass for canon, maybe even pass for canon, depending on who was involved with it. And then I'm assuming, and I'm no like, I'm not Kishimoto, but I'm assuming that the ending of the storyline here will probably last about 3 or 4 hours, maybe more. The manga hasn't ended yet, and I'm not sure how close it is to ending, but from where we left off in Storm 3 and where we are now in the manga, I could see between the battles and the cutscenes and everything, it being about 3 to 4 hours. So I don't think we should have any worries about how robust the gameplay will be for the story mode. I think it'll be fantastic. As for the actual ending of Storm 3, a lot of people were kind of mixed on it, because it didn't end quite like the manga. It was a very minor yet major difference. The difference was that in the manga, the war is still going on. In the game, Naruto defeated, so to speak, Madara and broke his mask without us actually seeing who he is. And then he left. Basically, everybody returned to their villages and prepared for a second round, pretty much. Which was worrying a few people, and honestly worries me a little bit too. Except, my idea here is that they'll probably rewind, so to speak. They'll probably, pick up where Naruto was fighting Madara, either have us do the fight again as, a tutorial level, or at least pick up after the fight's over when they're confronting each other and just continue as if it was going with the original manga. That's what I think the most logical thing to do is. But even if they do continue on with the way that the path that they chose for Storm 3, I don't think that they'll have too much problem with connecting it together and making it believable. And even if not, I think it'll be a small hiccup, especially if they keep going the way that they have with the games before, sticking so close to the anime and the manga. I don't really think there's too much reason to worry. The one thing I'm not sure about, though, is that I'm not sure if the canon story will actually end the series or not. I think it should, and I think it will, because in the trailer, the only clue I have, but in the trailer there's a stage that's set on lava, and there's lightning in the background and everything, very apocalyptic looking. And I'm assuming that that's going to be a stage set for something that hasn't even happened in the manga yet, and that gives me hope that it's going to actually bridge the gap between where Storm 3 left off and the actual official ending of the series. And if it doesn't end there, I'm actually going to be kind of mad. I love Naruto, and I don't think it's overstayed its welcome, but it's picking up to be ending, and I feel like I just feel like it's right for it to end here. And if the game is going to pick up at such a pivotal point, so close to the ending, and not finish, it would just feel like a ripoff. So that's where I stand with that. I'm only going to feel satisfied with the canon part of the story if they add the rest in there, because if not, then I feel like the actual canon storyline might be cut short, which it may also be a reason why they're including the Akatsuki and tournament mode stories, but I hope that's not the case. I hope they're just trying to really give fans the best and like say, hey, here's 2 other story modes besides the amazing, like, epic conclusion to the entire Naruto series. I think that's what they should do. And finally, about the story mode, I'm actually not quite sure how they're going to do this, but I am excited to think about what they could do, because in the past few games, Storm 2 and 3, they've really outdone themselves with the boss battles. In Storm 2, the boss battles were unique and innovative, and in Storm 3, they just really blew everything out of the water, just made it a whole bunch more unique, a whole bunch more epic, and from me reading the manga, I'm just really excited to think about what they could possibly do with that. Whether it's going to be one glorious boss battle sequence, which I think is a very real possibility, or not, even if it's not, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. I really think they're going to outdo themselves, especially if they keep the innovation that they did with the series as a whole, with the game mechanics, and especially the boss fights. So, yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is the canon's story is probably going to be fantastic, and I really hope they do a good job on this, because this final battle going on in the manga is so breathtaking that I can't wait to see it in game form, especially since the game form is probably going to come out before the anime does. But anyway, that's everything, guys. This video's been going on a long time, but I felt like I needed to say what I needed to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys agree with me. I hope it didn't bore you at all. And anyway, if you liked the video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, my warriors, and I will see you next time. Hold it! Stop. I forgot a few things. First of all, please put the shop and collections menus back into the main menu. It's really annoying to have to go back into the adventure mode just to get to those places. And please, for all that is good and holy, make more than one save file available. You have no idea how annoying it is if somebody comes over and wants to like do the adventure mode from scratch and you have to start the entire thing over again, or if you accidentally click new game instead of load game, which has happened to me twice, and then you are screwed pretty much. So please fix that. That's it. That's all I forgot. That's a wrap. Roll the clip.